The Adani enterprises are a massive scam.
You serious?
At least, that's what this crazy long report testifies. In response to these bunch of sheets, Adani's stocks have fallen from a tall cliff by almost 20% in a few days. Just an absolute bloodbath. Stockholders of Adani like me will understand what I'm saying. I understand your pain, guys, and I'm deeply concerned about this issue because this is not a report published by some bozos, but by a credible investment company who have done extensive work. That is why many wonder if they are looking at one of the biggest fraud cases in history. So, let's find out who this reporter's publisher is and what their accusations are, which is a lot. What is their proof? What effect will it have on Adani Group? Now before we go, I want to say I'm not passing any judgments on anyone in this video. All I'm doing is explaining the entire situation and the report with facts in a simple and concise way for you to decide, and obviously to entertain you also. By the way, since you clicked on the video, you are awesome. Now let's investigate. First off, the Adani Group is a set of companies founded by Gautam Adani, who became the second richest man a few months back. He is currently 7th due to the stock fall. The company mainly deals with ports management, infrastructure, mining, energy, media and power generation with a collective value of 17.8 trillion. 80% of the rise in Gautam Adani's wealth, by that I mean 100 billion, came in the last 3 years when most businesses were struggling even to breathe. This guy seems to have taken these get-rich-quick courses very seriously. The whole thing raised many eyebrows and everyone knew the stock price was hyperinflated. Now the report I was talking about was published by Hindenburg Research. They are basically researchers who are also short sellers. Now, short selling in simple terms is when you sell a stock first because you are expecting the price to drop. Once it drops, you buy it back. So you are selling at probably 100, buying at 40 and making a profit of 60. Simple. This happens in the futures and options market. If you have seen the Big Short movie, that's what the guys are doing in the housing market. Hindenburg Research looks for vulnerable companies with credible incriminating evidence, investigates them thoroughly and publishes the research while shorting the stocks. When the stocks drop, they make a crazy amount of money. And they are very successful in it, which means they are not spreading false facts and people believe them. They have targeted 30 companies in 2020 alone and have gone after Twitter also. They went after Nikola and their findings turned out to be accurate. Because of that, Nikola lost 33 billion in value. All their reports are legitimate. You can look at them on their site, and the one on Adani, well, let's look at what they said first. I will summarize the dense report in 5 points to give you a full idea. But I do recommend reading it because they have substantiated every fact with data, and the link is in the description. Number 1, the company is super leveraged, which means they have taken a shipload of debt. 5 of the companies have a current ratio below the standard 1.0. The current ratio tells you how much current liabilities can be met by current assets. For instance, Adani total gases ratio is 0.2, which is 1 by 5, meaning there is just 1 unit of asset for 5 units of liabilities.
Now that's scary.
The report says that apart from Adani ports, none of the companies has enough cash flow to meet liabilities. So it's extremely dangerous for creditors. Now, to take these huge loans, Adani has kept promoter shares as collateral, which itself is not stable because share prices go up and down. They are very volatile. So that's a bad sign, and that leads us to the next point. Huge proportions of promoter holding, which might have led to stock manipulation. Adani Group companies have mostly been run by the family themselves. 4 of the companies have promoters holding shares of nearly 75%, and Adani Wilmar is at 87%, which means they have a massive say in the movement of stock prices. You might say, dude, don't you know that the limit is 75% and they have more or less met that, right? Yeah, I do. Stop showing off, because things get creepy after this. According to the report, huge proportions of the remaining 25% are held by investment corporations controlled by Adani Group themselves. All the companies are located in Mauritius. It seems the corporations have no online presence, no funding material, and almost no diversification, which means they only had Adani shares. As you can see, even in times of volatility, something investment corporations generally don't do. Hindenburg calls them shell companies. It gets shadier considering all of these entities are holding 360 billion and are incorporated under just one company, Montrosa Investment Holdings. Here is another bombshell. Montrosa's chairman and CEO served as a director in 3 companies alongside a fugitive diamond merchant who allegedly stole $1 billion before fleeing India. Vinod Adani's daughter married the fugitive diamond merchant's son.
What the hell going on?
And all the management of these entities have close connections to the Adani family, according to the report. Now, what does all this mean for us? It means that the previous 75% is actually a lot more, which in turn means they can manipulate their stocks if they want, which Hindenburg suggests explains the rapid rise of Adani's stock value. One way Adani might have done that is through limiting float. Don't get scared by the term, it's very simple. Float is the amount of money that the non-promoters have, which in this case is significantly less. One of the ways to shoot up share value is to increase demand with limited supply. So if for some reason Adani's share demand rises, Adani Group will not sell their shares, and they have a lot of them, thus limiting supply. Because of that, the prices will shoot up. Number 3. Money laundering. Hindenburg has found that Adani Group has moved unaccounted capital to offshore Indian companies through hidden transactions and transferred them back to their own companies. At that point, the money can be used to tamper Adani's accounting by showing excess cash flow or capital. By showing that, their creditworthiness increases, so they can take more loans. They have mainly named Vinod Adani the elder brother, who has already been connected to many scams in the past. He seems to have many shell companies with weird websites where billions of dollars were flowing in and out. For example, a Mauritius company DMCC with no business whatsoever lent 1 billion to the Adani Group. Where did that 1 billion come from? There are many similar cases too, which the report has explained with extreme clarity and precise facts. Number 4. Past history of members of the Adani Group. Adani Group was previously booked for artificial stock manipulation, and some of them were investigated by SEBI, the boss themselves. In 2005, SEBI found a scheme by 30 brokerages to manipulate shares of Adani Enterprises. They received bans first, which was then downgraded to fines. Some of you might be old enough to remember the Ketan Parekh scam in 2001, and 7 Adani entities were banned for their involvement in it at that time, and sources say he is still working with Adani Group. And lastly, we have some weird pieces of evidence. Starting with the stability of CFOs, Adani Group has had 5 CFOs in 8 years, which according to the research is a major red flag suggesting financial control issues. The next one is a bit weird and funny. The auditing firms of Adani companies either have few employees or young auditors with almost no experience. It's like hiring teenagers to take care of your kids. And the auditing by other parties has shown material weaknesses and overpricing of assets. So, there you have it. Hindenburg versus Adani Group. The battle has just begun and it's gonna get more intense. All these revelations tell us that Adani's value is not what it looks like. Hindenburg has boldly given 88 questions for the Adani Group to answer. Let's see if they do. Adani has threatened them by filing a lawsuit for which Hindenburg has said,
We fight.
Now we have just heard one side of the table and not from the Adani family. Only then will we get the complete picture. The whole thing though is fascinating and worrying at the same time. So let's see what happens as more facts come to light. I hope you found the video entertaining and useful. If you did, make sure to hit the like and the subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.